Steve Sipress here. It is Topical, Tuesday, May 30th, 2017. Only one day left in the month for those of you that work off monthly goals or targets for the month of May. A little bit longer than usual with the 31 days. And speaking of longer than usual, it's taking me longer than usual to share my rhino of the day from yesterday because I just forgot to do it. I was all excited about Direct Mail Monday and showing my mail pieces off my desk. I forgot the rhino sitting right there. So the first thing I will share is yesterday's rhino of the day in honor of the Memorial Day holiday in the U.S. It's the closest thing I have to a red, white, and blue rhino, I think. I recently moved and I still have lots of rhinos in boxes and all over the place. And so we have the pink, white, and blue rhino, close to the red, white, and blue plush stuffed animal rhino. That is yesterday's rhino of the day. And if I do find, I think I have a red, white, and blue, at least one somewhere, rhino. If I do find that, then I will likely bring it out for July 4th. Actually, and before then, June 14th is Flag Day in America. So maybe that's the next patriotic red, white, and blue themed holiday I'll bring it out for. And if not, I'll bring it out on an appropriate red, white, and blue themed holiday sometime in the future when I do find it. Now, today's rhino of the day, because I'm going to be talking about, as you can see in the blurb here, I'm talking about international travel. So I have my internationally traveling rhino. This is a black rhino in transit, presumably from wild Africa somewhere. And I was so, I like this packaging, it's so cool, it's an actual wooden box, that I noticed today when I looked into it that I've never even opened. I'm just assuming there's actually a rhino in here. Never even opened the packaging, so I will do that live on the video right now. Has some of this stuffing in there, blowing in the breeze on another beautiful, spectacular day here in paradise. And we have a black rhino, some kind of information card about the black rhino. That's kind of cool. And then we have the actual padding around, because, you know, rhinos can't travel internationally without proper padding. Who would do that? And so, oh, and that's actually kind of cool. So it's a stone rhino. This is painted stone. I don't know what kind of stone. It's kind of pink with black paint. And there it is, the black rhino in transit in the box. I'll put it back in there in the stuffing. In the box, we'll put it back on and put it back on the shelf. The black rhino in transit, the endangered species coming to America. Today's topic, Topical Tuesday, is about going away from America, or in your case, from wherever you are around the world. Maybe it's coming to America. Actually, that's the example I'm going to bring up today. And it's because Donald Trump just completed a week or 10 days or however long he did his first international trip. And I got to tell you, it's still hard for me to believe that in my lifetime, Donald Trump, who I've been following for years, growing up in New York, ever since, way back in when he started to really make a name for himself in the tabloids in New York, in real estate, that this guy is actually the president of the United States. I mean, it's just kind of crazy every time I even see him or I hear somebody say President Trump. I mean, it just sounds so crazy. So here's the point. And he is besieged by all the anti-Trumpers on the left, the right, and whoever's in between anti-Trumpers. They really just can't stand the concept that he even ran. They certainly can't stand the fact that Americans voted for him. So their hatred of Trump is really, in my opinion, as an amateur psychologist, because every direct response marketer is a student of human behavioral psychology. It's really their displaced anger towards Americans and just the Americans that voted for him. How could you do that? How could you vote for Trump? Well, I have a feeling, again, my amateur psychological opinion, that possibly not a lot of people, a heck of a lot less, would have voted for Trump if there was any viable, decent candidate in the Republican primary, and then there absolutely, of course, was not a viable candidate who was not a complete criminal and corrupt, self-serving, just complete criminal politician in the general election who was viable to main parties. And so what are you going to do? So Trump gets elected anyway. So he is laughed at, mocked, threatened, just hated here in the U.S., and yet he goes overseas And his first stop, or one of the first stops, where he's in some Arab country, and he's treated like a king, like royalty. He's walking the red carpet, and they're dancing with swords up in the air, which I also thought was kind of funny, that Secret Service is allowing like hundreds of people with big swords flying around the president in the U.S. I mean, you can't even get anywhere near the guy, certainly not with a big sword in your hand. But again, that's my whole point. The treatment overseas of this person, President of the United States or anybody else, the treatment overseas is completely different than the treatment he's getting in his own land. When he comes back to the U.S., it's all about, who is leaking this on your staff and who's colluding with the Russians to, give them this and win the election and do whatever's good for them. And break up NATO, because God knows those Germans and French and whatever should be just entitled to U.S. taxpayer money, even when they let terrorists run rampant all over the continent, destroy the whole continent. Somehow we should be responsible to pay for all that. Give me a break. But anyway, this is Topical Tuesday, but I don't want to get too political about it. What I want to do is relate it to marketing. So too many times I see business owners are thinking too small. You're thinking way too locally. Now I know you're going to say, Steve, well, I have a local business. I'm a dentist. I'm an attorney. I'm only licensed in my state, Steve. So what are you talking about? I can't get clients from anywhere other than my state where I practice. Or I'm a restaurant. Steve, people come from only a couple of miles away. I have a diner. Give me a break. How international could I be? Well, here's the thing. I've helped clients in all those businesses and many others to start selling stuff all over the country, all over the world. Take themselves international, where you can expand your business, make a ton more money. Let's take this little local diner. And you're sitting there going, Steve, I sell $5 bacon and egg breakfast and coffee in my little local diner, and what are you talking about international? Well, does anyone really like your particular, maybe your coffee that you make? Maybe you have a special hot sauce that you put on your food. Maybe you have some kind of special steak sauce, some kind of salad dressing. You have something. Maybe you just have T-shirts with a very cool logo. You can get patents for your restaurant name, and you can get it for apparel, and you can start selling apparel. If you, instead of having the typical crappy name of a business, Joe's Diner, that no one ever cares about, or a crappy logo or whatever, if you came up with something interesting, you might be able to sell some apparel all over the world. I've got a client, hasn't launched it yet, but he's about to launch a chain of restaurants, and he's come up with such a cool name that he got a patent not only for the name, but also for the apparel, and he's going to be selling apparel for the restaurant. We consulted, and he realized how much sense it makes to start selling T-shirts, hats, and all this kind of stuff with the cool name and logo of his business all over the place way before he's going to open a restaurant there. That's going to help him to determine where he should open a restaurant. In fact, if he's got, hey, there's a heck of a lot of T-shirt sales coming in from here, that's where we're going to look to put a restaurant location. Makes sense. But in the meantime, he's making a heck of a lot more money than just selling the little stuff out of a little local restaurant. Now let's take an attorney. Oh, Steve, you don't understand. I'm licensed only to practice in my little area here. I can't do international business. What are you talking about? Well, that's where you sell your expertise, your knowledge, your information. So no matter what it is you do, from an attorney, let's just take an attorney. You maybe have your own system that works for anything at all in your business. How you talk to clients, how you get clients, how you answer the phone, how you set up your waiting room, how you, the newsletter that you mail out, the website you put up. Any of this is information that somebody else is just coming out of law school or just starting out, or they've been in business for a while and they think they're really good at being a lawyer. They don't understand why they don't have a lineup of clients beating down their door, and maybe they could use some help with how to answer the phone or how to market their business and so forth. So there are people in all industries selling all that kind of stuff, selling professionals on, yes, courses for tens of thousands of dollars. They will come in with a team into your location and teach your staff and stay with them for a week and teach them how to answer the phone, how to book more calls into appointments, because those turn into more clients and turn into more revenue, and it pays for that consulting many times over. What about, I have another client who just came on board and hired me. He is, for the last, 9 years, he's been speaking all over the world, Europe, Asia, to massive crowds and selling his book. He sold over 1 million copies, and he contacted me and said, I want to bring it to America, and I know you're just the one to do it. And so I am helping him now to break into the American market, where he's going to be speaking all over the country. But before he comes in to speak, we're going to be actually giving away his books for free. People will pay a small shipping and handling charge and get the book for free, and then they can also get some more help from him in online courses and coaching, and that will help us determine, hey, where are these sales coming from? You might want to go speak there because you just sold 10,000 books in whatever city or area that is. That's where we're going to look to book, but we're also going to build a list of people that got his book, his tapes, his course, his coaching, his whatever, and therefore we can let them know, hey, advance notice, this is where he's going to be speaking. We can give you an early bird advance ticket, but we'll build this list to market to, which will cut the cost of the marketing when he is going to start speaking at these events. We'll buy a lot. We'll know better idea of where to put them, a much better idea of who to sell them to. We'll have a captive audience by having this list of people that got his free book. They're going to be most likely to want to now go see him speak when he's in their area and so forth. So this is how you can have your business travel internationally, nationally, way beyond whatever your little thinking is. Instead of thinking, oh, I can't, whenever you think to say, I can't, forget the I can't part and think, okay, you can say, okay, I can't for now, but how could I make that happen? And oh, back again. Sorry about that. I saw that I stopped. I don't know if that stopped for you, and maybe I was just sitting there. But anyway, I guess I'm back, so I will end it with that. Expand beyond your thinking, and don't, in anything you do, you never want to be thinking, but I can't. But Steve, I can't. Think, how could I? How could I make that happen? How could I use that strategy that Steve's just talking about? How could I use that tactic? How could I implement that system into my business? And if you need help with any of that, clearly, obviously, I've helped a lot of people. I'm an expert in that. Give me a call. Email Steve at Steve Sipress. Hit me up with a message on Facebook or Twitter or wherever you're finding this video, on YouTube or anything, and let's talk, and I'll help you out to make some money. So, as always, at the end, let's go to any questions. I don't see them, but I see Aliu Barry is here. Great seeing you. Jeff Morris, the coach, Culbertson is here. Sam Dean, Merle is here. Fantastic. Thanks, everybody, being here. I don't see any questions, comments, concerns, anything at all. If so, shoot them in a comment, and I'll cover them tomorrow when I will be back again with Wisdom Wednesday. So thanks.